Imagine discovering the first living organism from another planet. Not a fossil, not a sign, an actual living creature from Mars. At first, it looks like the greatest scientific breakthrough in human history, but within days, that same discovery turns into every astronaut's worst nightmare. Today, we're looking at Life. 2017, a sci fi horror thriller set aboard the International Space Station, where a group of astronauts learns that some discoveries are better left undiscovered. The film follows a six-member crew who receive a Martian sample containing evidence of extraterrestrial life. What begins as a historic moment quickly becomes a fight for survival. The movie opens aboard the International Space Station. A team of astronauts from different countries is working together on an important mission. Their goal is simple: receive samples collected from Mars and determine whether life ever existed there. The crew successfully captures the incoming capsule and begins examining its contents. At first, the samples seem lifeless. The excitement starts fading as scientists wonder if the mission has failed. But then one of the crew members notices something unusual inside the Martian soil. Tiny cellular structures begin responding to stimulation. Suddenly, the impossible becomes reality. They have discovered living cells from another planet. And just like that, humanity's understanding of the universe changes forever. Back on Earth, people celebrate. News networks explode with excitement. Children are invited to help name the organism. Eventually, the creature receives the name Calvin. At this point, Calvin is tiny, harmless, and fascinating. The crew treats it like a miracle. Nobody sees it as a threat. In fact, they see it as proof that humanity is not alone in the universe. As scientists continue studying Calvin, they make an incredible discovery. Every cell in the organism appears capable of performing multiple biological functions. It's almost as if every part of its body can act like muscle, nerve tissue, and sensory organs all at once. This makes Calvin far more efficient than any known life form on Earth. The crew becomes increasingly fascinated. The organism grows rapidly. Each day reveals new abilities. What started as a microscopic sample begins developing into something much more complex. The scientists believe they are witnessing the birth of an entirely new branch of biology. But there's one problem. Nobody truly understands what Calvin is capable of. And when dealing with alien life, assumptions can become deadly. One crew member continues experimenting with the organism, trying to encourage further growth. For a while, everything seems under control. Then something changes. The creature stops responding. Its activity drops dramatically. It appears to be dying. The scientists become worried. After all, humanity's greatest discovery might disappear before they can fully understand it. So they decide to stimulate it again. Unfortunately, that decision changes everything, because Calvin wasn't dying, it was adapting. When Calvin suddenly becomes active again, its behavior is completely different. The creature reacts aggressively. Instead of behaving like a simple organism, it begins demonstrating something far more concerning: intelligence. Not human intelligence, not animal intelligence, but enough awareness to recognize threats and opportunities. The crew starts noticing that Calvin learns quickly. Very quickly. Every interaction teaches it something new. Every mistake made by the astronauts becomes an advantage for the organism. At first, they still believe they can contain the situation. After all, they're inside one of the most advanced scientific facilities ever built. Surely they can handle one growing life form. But space is unforgiving. Even the smallest problem can become a disaster. And Calvin is no longer a small problem. The organism continues evolving at an alarming rate. The more it grows, the harder it becomes to predict. The more it learns, the more dangerous it becomes. The astronauts slowly realize they may have underestimated the creature from the very beginning. Instead of studying Calvin, Calvin may be studying them. One of the biggest strengths of this movie is its setting. The International Space Station isn't just a location, it's a prison. There's nowhere to run, no police to call, no backup team arriving in time. Every hallway is connected. Every system depends on another system, and one mistake can kill everyone on board. As Calvin becomes more unpredictable, the crew starts implementing containment procedures. They try isolating areas of the station. They attempt to control its movement. They search for weaknesses. But every solution creates a new problem. The astronauts face a terrifying reality. They are dealing with a life form that evolved under completely different conditions than anything on Earth. Traditional assumptions no longer apply. The creature doesn't behave according to expectations. It adapts faster than anyone anticipated. What makes the situation even worse is that every crew member understands the stakes. This isn't just about their survival anymore. If Calvin ever reaches Earth, the consequences could be catastrophic. The mission shifts from scientific exploration to damage control, and from that moment on, every decision becomes a matter of life and death. As conditions aboard the station deteriorate, tension begins affecting the crew. Different astronauts have different ideas about how to handle the threat. Some want aggressive action. Others prefer caution. Some still believe they can learn from Calvin. Others think it must be stopped at all costs. The disagreements create additional pressure inside an already dangerous environment. And that's what makes life so effective. The real enemy isn't just the creature, it's uncertainty. Nobody knows the correct solution. Nobody knows what Calvin will do next. Every choice carries enormous risks. The crew is forced to make impossible decisions while isolated hundreds of miles above Earth. Meanwhile, Calvin continues growing stronger. Every encounter leaves the astronauts with fewer options. Every failed plan makes the situation worse, and the station that once symbolized humanity's greatest achievements slowly transforms into a place of fear. The astronauts begin realizing something terrifying. They may not be fighting for victory anymore. They may simply be fighting to prevent something even worse from happening. What I really like about life is how grounded it feels. Unlike many alien movies that rely on giant invasions or massive action scenes, this film keeps everything confined to a small space station. That creates constant tension. The movie also does a great job showing how curiosity can become dangerous when dealing with something completely unknown. The astronauts aren't reckless villains. They're scientists doing exactly what scientists are supposed to do: explore and learn. Unfortunately, they encounter a life form that plays by different rules. Another thing that stands out is Calvin itself. The creature doesn't feel like a typical movie monster. It feels like a biological puzzle that keeps evolving faster than anyone can understand. That unpredictability is what makes it so scary. With the crew running out of options and Calvin becoming more dangerous by the minute, the astronauts prepare for one final desperate attempt to contain the threat. But whether their plan succeeds or fails is where we'll stop today's recap. If you've seen Life, 2017, do you think humanity should ever attempt to bring alien organisms back to Earth for study, or are some discoveries simply too dangerous? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more movie recaps.